I'm Todd Vanderheyden. This is CTV News Channel. It's great to have you listen from across the country on this Tuesday, and a big change coming to the federal government. Chrystia Freeland has officially resigned from cabinet. She served in key portfolios, finance, foreign affairs, handling the trade file between Canada and the United States under both Justin Trudeau, Mark Carney. She has now left cabinet. She's set to become a special envoy on Ukraine. Freeland is of Ukrainian descent. She's been very outspoken in condemning Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, singling out Vladimir Putin numerous times. In fact, she was banned and sanctioned by Russia years ago over some of her comments. Comes as Prime Minister Mark Carney has promised deeper Canadian involvement in trying to stop the war. We are expecting to hear from Freeland later this afternoon, but she did release a statement, and I'm going to read some of it to you in this photo that was just sent out of her and Mark Carney, basically saying, "I am forever grateful to my constituents for trusting and electing me 5 times, and I would like to thank Prime Minister Carney and Prime Minister Trudeau for the privilege of serving in their cabinets over the last decade." She also says she does not intend to run in the next federal election. So what we know right now, she is leaving cabinet, but will stay on as a Liberal MP representing a very, very strong Liberal riding in downtown Toronto. She'll continue to represent that riding, at least for now. We're going to get more details on what her new role will be, but an extensive message from Freeland talking a little bit about what she has done over the 12 years that she has been in elected office. Let's bring in CTV's Colton Prale, who is standing by with more on this story. And Colton, good to see you. Your take on what this means now for Chrystia Freeland, for the Ukrainian file, and for Mark Carney.
Yeah, I think this is really interesting in that she doesn't specify exactly what she is going to do next in her statement that she just put out in social media, but she is very clear that she is not leaving politics, that public service has meant much to her. In fact, she even writes in this statement, "I'm not leaving to spend more time with my family or because the burden of elected office is too heavy to bear. For me and my wonderful husband and children, public service has been a privilege, not a sacrifice." Now, that matches with what we've been hearing from her Liberal colleagues throughout the day today. James Maloney is the Liberal caucus chair, and he is also a personal friend of Chrystia Freeland. He was an ardent supporter of her throughout her Liberal leadership campaign, for example. The two have known each other for quite some time, and he commented on her leadership on the Russia file, but also in caucus as a whole. Have a listen to what he described as a very unique way that Chrystia Freeland led on this file.
She's been very passionate on that front. She's been a leader on the Ukraine file since day one, and I've said time and time again, I have not seen Prime Minister or Deputy Prime Minister or somebody in government lean in on something like I have on that, and she's been a leader on that, and we take her lead from her.
And Todd, I can now confirm the official position that she will be taking on. Mark Carney posting on social media just now that he has asked Chrystia Freeland to serve as Canada's new special representative for the reconstitution of Ukraine, in addition to her responsibilities as a member of Parliament. So continuing on as an MP, although as you pointed out in her statement, she did clarify that she would not run in the next federal election. Mark Carney also thanked Chrystia Freeland, highlighting her, in his words, versatility, raw intelligence, and principled leadership. So there you go, a new special position created similar to what we've been describing as a special envoy for Ukraine, in this case, the reconstitution of Ukraine. Excuse me, the reconstruction of Ukraine. It's a tiny font as they post pictures of these letters. But there you go, a new position for Chrystia Freeland with the Canadian government stepping away from cabinet. We should note that leaves 2 pretty large portfolios open now in both transport and internal trade minister, which she was serving as prior to this resignation.
Right, so reconstruction of Ukraine, of course, Colton, whenever Russia's brutal war is in fact over in Ukraine, and we know that under this Prime Minister, Mark Carney, he's visited Ukraine recently in person, and obviously is signaling anyway that Canada will be playing a greater role than we have seen before in trying to help Ukraine rebuild once the war is over, and also the possibility signaled that Canada could deploy some sort of peacekeeping force when there's a ceasefire.
Yeah, all of that is part of the coalition of the willing that Canada is a part of, and certainly the focus on the reconstruction of Ukraine is a significant part of that coalition, and it's where we've seen Canada be perhaps most specific, that it will be there financially. There's been less details, for example, less certainty on the possibility of Canadian troops on the ground and what that would look like, but certainly we have heard very clearly from this Liberal government that they do plan to be a steadfast ally and continuing to help financially with Ukraine when it comes to that post-war reconstruction, whenever that may occur.
Colton Prale with this breaking news. Good to see you. Thank you for this.
You too.
All right, so take a step back now just to recap. Chrystia Freeland, longtime member of the Trudeau and then the Carney governments, and big portfolios, finance, foreign affairs, you name it. Nowadays, the transport and internal trade minister, no longer, though, has resigned from cabinet. She will stay on as a Liberal MP. She represents a safe Liberal riding in Toronto, but will now become a special envoy for the reconstruction of Ukraine, something very personal to her. She is Ukrainian by descent. She speaks Ukrainian, and she's long called out Vladimir Putin and his regime in Russia over what they have done to the country in recent years. We're getting more reaction, too, from different political players, including the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford. Listen to this, what he has to say on Freeland.
Any thoughts on Chrystia Freeland stepping down from cabinet and becoming an envoy to Ukraine?
Yeah, she's always a friend. I talk to her almost daily, bi-daily, and she's a good person, and she'll do a great job over in Ukraine, and I support her all the way.